Upgrading to taller tires? Well, if you plan to get a matching size spare, depending on how much taller you go, you may be forfeiting the ability to keep the spare in the factory location, forcing you to keep your big heavy tire up on top of your vehicle or taking up valuable space in the bed or cargo area of your SUV. Now, worst case scenario, you just keep the factory spare, no harm in that. It'll get you out of most situations. Worst thing you can do is go without a spare, especially if you're off-road. But a great solution for carrying an oversized spare is going to be a hitch or a bumper style tire carrier. Now, your bumper style are going to take a little bit more commitment because it's dedicated to one vehicle. They're going to be a little bit heavier, but they're typically offer more off-road protection and a little bit more ground clearance. Now, if you go with a hitch style like you see here, they are going to maybe impact a little bit at a departure angle, but they're going to be a little bit lighter and offer a lot more versatility on vehicles that you attach them to. And ultimately, it's why we went this route. It allows us to put it on any one of our vehicles, including our off-road trailer, and simply remove it if we don't need it on there. Now, these things do come with a few initial caveats, and I want to be upfront about those. Main one being cost. Whenever you factor in the engineering, research and development, materials, fabrication, these things, I mean, you get what you pay for. And whenever it comes to having a big heavy tire like this on the back of your vehicle, you definitely want it to stick around on or off-road. The next thing that's going to impact is being able to see out the back of your vehicle. That's more of a hardship. You can get used to that. The third one kind of stems off the second one. For the modern vehicles, it's going to block use of your backup camera. There's ways around that too. But just wanted to put those caveats because y'all may need to know that stuff. But when you consider you're able to not only carry an oversized spare, but the ability to attach other accessories like a folding table for enhancing your camp kitchen or rear workspace, or attaching jerry cans for, or even Rotopax for that matter, for extra water and fuel, allowing you to feel more comfortable off-grid. Now you can see that it's more of a utilitarian tool than just a cool attachment to hold a big tire. So if you've been considering a tire carrier for your vehicle and you want to learn more about why we chose this carrier, not only that, but how we relocated our backup camera, then this is a video for you. Stay tuned. Hey, welcome back to the Gator Overland channel. I'm John, and today I'm excited to talk to you about the Dirtcom Trail Swing HD. It's a hitch-mounted tire carrier. It's a step above their base model, designed more for the full-size application, and tires up to 40 inches tall. We've had this unit on here for about 9 months, exposed it to off-road, sea salt and everything, and we haven't had any issues with construction or rust for that matter. It's held up great. This is not going to be a full install video, more me just discussing what I like about this carrier and how I relocated the backup camera, where I think a lot of y'all will find that pretty helpful. So if you've been considering units like Wilco Off-Road, JCR, Adventure 1 or Expedition 1, and specifically the one I looked into was the rigged, and then I came across the Dirtcom Trail Swing. When you look at their design, their construction, their attention to detail, and then watch their video of how they compare their unit to the rigged, well, that sells itself. So I'll put the link in the description below for you to see that video. I think you will be really impressed. For your viewing convenience, this video is timestamped, allowing you to go to any point in this video without having to scroll through. Don't forget to check the description below for links to websites for the Dirtcom Trail Swing, as well as other Amazon affiliate links for accessories and contact information should you need to get a hold of me. I'm not affiliated with Dirtcom, just happy to support their product and their apparel. Kind of nice. Let's get started. The build. The Dirtcom Trail Swing comes in at a solid 97 pounds. It can support up to a 40-inch tire and or 250 pounds on the swing arm alone, making it a great option as opposed to going with a heavier full replacement bumper. Its construction is entirely of 2-inch 120 wall tubing. It's going to be composed of chromoly on the receiver portion that's fixed to the vehicle, and the swing gate has actually been updated now to a DOM tubing. The standard model is going to be a little bit smaller in every aspect, as you see here. It's going to be made of 1.5-inch 120 wall, entirely of chromoly. So what I imagine, DOM tubing is going to be definitely less expensive, easier to bend, easier to weld, quicker to manufacture. I see that as being a saving point on their end and your end. Nothing to discredit on DOM tubing on the exterior portion. Where it matters is where it's contacting the actual vehicle. So moving on down to the backbone, this thing is supported by a solid bar stock of billet 2-inch steel. It's CNC machined with 3 holes 1 inch apart, allowing you to locate the receiver in or out, making more room for you to have accessories on the inside and not contacting your tailgate or your swing gate of your SUV. Just up from there and having this nice little angled cut, so your departure angle is gained by a little bit. You have a 2-inch receiver allowing you to put in your accessories, baskets, bikes, trailers. Our trailer tows perfect through this. It's great, it's up and out of the way. It's also got a reinforced collar. This particular contact point right here is J684 rated, class 4, and can tow up to 10,000 pounds. That's incredible. That's twice what my truck can actually. It's super HD if you put it that way. Now, keeping this thing supported and quiet, all the contact points here are EPDM rubber contact pads, whereas your other brands are going to be more or less like a little guide and metal to metal, and they can be super loud. This thing hasn't made a noise since I bought it. In fact, the only thing that does make noise is not even one of their products. It's the front runner tailgate. It has a little bit of play in the latch. This thing's been awesome. So everything is supported by 3/16 steel, all gusseted through here. As you can see, you got a bunch of locating holes for mounting accessories. And then from there, we're gonna move up to the actual tire support pedestal. So this thing's constructed out of 1/4 inch thick steel. If you look on the interior, it's gusseted, welded, and then it's allowed you to bolt it and move it up and down for your tire size necessities. One cool thing that they put is the stud top dead center, allowing you to just throw a tire up there and hang it and then move it back and forth to put in your other studs right here. I did run into a complication with that because I used my stock wheels. We'll talk about that more in a minute. But overall, super happy with how simple and effective this design. Lightweight, super versatile, well built. Now that you know what holds this thing together, let's talk about some of the features that really make this thing stand out from all the others. I'll start with the pedestal mount. So as you can see, we've already talked that it's capable of supporting up to a 40-inch or 250 pounds on the swing gate in general. But you got all these locating holes here to allow you for adjustability of what height you want for departure angle or tire size, anything you wish. Now the departure angle advantage you get here is they've made it slightly at about 10 to 12 degrees pitch right here. You have that one stud, allows you to put it up there. Makes it nice because when you put a tire on a flat plane, a tire wants to lean out. This is about that lean, and it compensates for that, making it easier to not only to put it up there, but really mounting on there. Now, I mentioned I did run into an issue with that. I reached out to them and let them know I have a 17 by 7.5 inch tire or 7.5 inch wheel, and even the stock wheel and tire, which is a 33-10-50, wouldn't fit on here. It was actually contacting here. The pedestal needed to be a little bit further out. They actually overnighted me this little spacer, which is actually their Rotopax spacer that goes right here, but it's the same size as their pedestal mount spacing as that, and it's great, it would work, but it's only about 3/4 of an inch. I needed 1.5 inches, so another $50 later, I got me a set of wheel spacers, 1.5 inches, and no more issue. Just word to the wise, if you're planning on using stock wheels, mine are a 17 by 7.5. They're a plus 44 millimeter, which makes it about 6.5 inch back spacing. I think you'll need at least 4.5 inch back spacing to work with the factor or this pedestal in general. Other than that, you're gonna have a little extra investment. Just word to the wise there. Now, as mentioned, we have all of our gussets, our holes that are for mounting accessories. There is a little bit of patterning to those, and as you can see, there are dots and dashes. Well, if you put those together and type that into a Morse code calculator, that's going to tell you Dirtcom USA. That's one of those attentions to detail that I think is just awesome. They got their brand there and useful use of Morse code holes for mounting accessories. Now, right here you have your 1,000 pound rated latch, and it's got a catch. It's a 12 millimeter diameter safety pin, and it's tethered, and you actually, if you need to open one of your cold water sandwiches on the trail, you have a bottle opener, which I think is another great attention to detail. It's got a nice rubber, almost like a bicycle handle grip. Now, moving down here, we have our auto locking mechanism right here. It allows you to put it in this, the swing gate out. Mine usually stops in the first, and I'm able to work with the tailgate down, cook, do whatever, but you also have your second and third stops, or you can swing it up out of the way and it does full swing. Just don't forget to put it back in its place, because you'll end up with a boo-boo if the wind blows. Just word to the wise there. Now, one of the best features of this entire thing is the anti-wobble mechanism. So what it is, it's that block of billet steel. The end has a piece that has an eccentric hole in it, and then as you tighten down, it actually moves in a force like this and wedges on the interior of the receiver hitch, making it to where it doesn't wobble any bit. That is worth its weight in gold. That is just awesome. It's also part of what makes it very accessible with your hitches, trailers, poundage, everything. It's super easy to access. It's a 19mm bolt right at the back side, and all you have to do is just crank away. I'm not sure the actual foot pounds, but good and tight is kind of what I have it at. Now, your competitors, you're gonna have to use a really long extension, have to go down the tube, similar mechanisms and whatnot, but this one basically reverse engineered that design and made it better. We'll finish up with pointing out that they have an integrated license plate holder. I do like that it has that. It makes it DOT approved. It comes with the LED. Its location, not so much. I actually use this particular area and sometimes this conflicts with it. It's not a bad design, it's just for my uses, it's not the best location. But if it was able to be moved from side to side, that would be better. I do like that it has the LED built into it. Basically, it's gonna have a black and red wire. It's gonna be red to brown, black to white, and you just get an actual trailer hitch 4-pin and just splice it into that and you're good to go. That's that. Well, that summarizes everything I think you need to know about the Dirtcom Trail Swing HD. If you want to know more information, even all the way down to how it's built and welded and everything, you can go to their website. They have really extensive videos, all the way down to that one. I recommend you watch them where they actually cut theirs and their competitor rigged apart and show you kind of apples to apples how they're constructed. Super easy installation. You only need 4 tools for it: a 19mm socket, a 10mm socket, a 4mm Allen, and a Phillips head screwdriver for your license plate. Now, as far as accessories go, they have a full line of accessories, backup camera replacements, brackets I should say. They have this trail bracket like you see here, and allows you to mount a front runner tailgate table on there. They're not associated with each other, but they are designed to work together. Now, I did actually put this tailgate, or I should say the trail bracket, on level in the position whenever it was locked up right here, but found that there's actual extensive leverage whenever you put a big tire on here, and that was kind of leaning out. You have a boiling pot of water or any kind of glass works going on there, it's going to end up wanting to slide off. So I recommend getting a bubble level, putting it on the actual end right there, getting everything level while you're in your preferred position of use, and then getting it all tightened down and ready to go. That way you have your workspace and everything ready to go. So as far as accessories goes, this is probably the extent of what I'll need it for. There's plenty of other things you can check out there. If you're planning on using your stock wheels, don't forget you might end up having a wheel spacer issue. Not a big deal, but easy fix. All right, backup camera relocation. It's actually a really simple process, but the avenues you have to go through to find things that work together is a little bit cumbersome. But I've saved you all the trouble, and I'll leave all the information below for everything that I have sitting here. So you need basically 3 things. You'll need a relocation bracket, you'll need a camera, if not an aftermarket one, use your factory one, and you'll need in a Jeep's application, I believe it works with Ram as well, what's called a FAKRA plug. It'll be a male jack by female in. And basically you're just going to bypass the line. There's a company that I went through called Pasternak. It's the model number dash the length that you need. So I went with 132 inches. Now in hindsight, I would have probably done it in 2 separate sections. One being a 48-inch section that goes down the inside of the tailgate through the back of the bumper and have a quick disconnect at the bumper, and then the balance of it coming up to this point right here. Reason for that, if I ever need to remove the actual trail swing for any reason, rather than having to loosen the wobble mechanism, pull it out, and then pull all my wiring out from up in there, all I have to do is disconnect at that quick connect at the bumper, and then everything has a standalone wiring wiring connection on the actual unit. You don't have to come through and cut out all your zip ties. So just work to the wise, do it in 2 sections. Mine was 48 and then the balance. So from there, I ended up finding that Addictive Desert Designs makes this particular bracket for relocating cameras onto their aftermarket bumpers. They make bumpers that have swings on them. Typically a JL doesn't need a backup camera relocation because their tire swing has one already built into it. But when you go away from that particular type, you have to relocate your bracket. And this actually works perfect. It's a little on the high end for cost, but it's going to work great for your application. Now, as far as the camera goes, I thought it would be as simple as just getting a JL backup camera. It's the same dash, same display and everything, and just being able to keep one here and keep my factory one and alleviate from having a hole just sticking out in the bed. Well, it's not that simple. Apparently these, per model number, are configured for different applications of actual camera systems. So my vehicle has a front trail cam. This is a model number configured for a non-trail cam vehicle, which means whenever I put it into reverse with this one connected, I don't get a display on the screen. But whenever I plugged it back into my camera, it worked just fine. Well, the difference is $60 for just a regular replacement for a non-trail cam one, $200 for one right here that is a trail cam system. Simple fix, use the one that was in my tailgate. Now all I have is a little hole there. I plugged it up with a wine cork and all is good. Now from there, you just remove the access panel on the back side. It's really easy to access the camera. Simple plastic tensions relieves the bezel. It pops out, you pop off the FAKRA plug, you put on the new FAKRA plug that mates to that one, then you run your wiring through, zip tie everything all the way up to this point. For the purposes of this video, I'm just going to show you connecting here, but you'll want to go through the back side because you won't be able to put your tire on. And then you just simply connect the FAKRA plug and you've bypassed it and you have now a backup camera. So it's really that simple in a nutshell. 3 items, FAKRA plug, whatever your item for your company. I know Dirtcom has options for Chevrolet Colorado and Toyota and maybe a few other things on their website as well as some brackets, but for a JLJT application, this is it. Well, that about wraps things up. If you enjoyed today's video, found it informative or helpful in making your decision to put a Dirtcom Trail Swing HD on your vehicle, not only that, but how to simply relocate your backup camera, go ahead, give us a big thumbs up. Let us know how we're doing. Share if you'd like, I'd appreciate that. For a heads up on any future installs or adventures, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, notification bell, and you can follow us along our journey. Don't forget to check the description below for links to the Dirtcom website, as well as other Amazon affiliate links for products and accessories that you can attach to this thing, as well as contact information should you need to get a hold of me. Remember, we at Gator Overland encourage each and every one of you to take a daily moment to unplug and reconnect with the outdoors, even if it's just for a few minutes. Have fun, keep it safe, and just go. Thanks, y'all.